the Lorain County Commissioners, broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria. The meetings start at 9:30 a.m. on most weeks. Now, enjoy the meeting.
Would you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oh, we still haven't changed the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's a certain protocol that talks about placement of the flag, and I never bothered to educate myself on what it is because I can't think of her name now. I'm embarrassed, but she's a 4-H advisor for years and years and years, and she would come by and tell us if we did it wrong. So maybe I'll have to call her. Good morning and welcome to the 15th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners for the year 2001. Today's date is April 26th. This thought I would like to offer today is attributed to Abraham Lincoln. He said, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. And Commissioner Bates, I believe you got some guests this morning?
Yes, we have two girls here from Northwood Junior High. Do you want to give your names?
Crystal Rigo.
Hallie Schneck. And we have two girls in the audience that are shadowing their dad this morning, and they're from Midview. Do you want to stand and give your names? Well, we sure appreciate you being here.
And their dad is Chris Eichenlaw, the Safety Service Director for the City of Elyria. Welcome, all of you. Madam Clerk.
Okay, under resolutions, I need a motion to approve the Job and Family Services bills for payment.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Appropriations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
There are no advances today. Requisitions?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Travel expenses?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Approving bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approve a child care contract between the Department of Job and Family Services and the Call Out Church Daycare Center of Elyria, Ohio. The contract is effective retroactive to March 16, 2001 to December 31st, 2001. I'd like to authorize the President to execute on behalf of the Board.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approve change order number 1 in the amount of $5,253 to Allied Construction Group, Incorporated of North Olmsted, Ohio, for the Children's Services third floor restroom renovation project that's here in the Administration Building. Upon demolition of existing walls, the contractor found the existing terrazzo floor elevations at different heights, up to 1 to 1/2 inch variations. To correct this unforeseen problem, the contractor suggested using a self-leveling floor system over the entire area. The Children's Services Board has approved the change order and have agreed to pay the full amount.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd like to issue a notice to proceed letter to R.A. Joseph Construction Incorporated of Avon, Ohio, for the Eaton Township Elevator. That's a Community Development Block Grant fiscal year 99 funded project. The notice is effective April 30th, 2001. This contract was awarded by resolution number 01-243, adopted March 22nd, 2001.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd like to award contract to R&I Construction Company of Tiffin, Ohio, in the amount of $283,741.30 for the replacement of Peck Wadsworth Road Bridge number 0565 in Wellington Township. The engineer's estimate cost was $363,092. R&I Construction Company was the lowest and most responsive bid received, complying with specifications. Funding for this will be provided from the OPWC with 83% OPWC, which is $235,505.28, and 17% Lorain County funding, $48,236.02. This award is being made contingent upon approval of the request to proceed from the OPWC.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Advertise for bids to supply Golden Acres County Home with various food items. I'd like to publish the notice in the Morning Journal and Chronicle Telegram on April 26th and May 3rd, 2001.
So moved. Second.
Harmony.
Who did I hear first?
So moved.
Oh, we have all three now.
I'll second.
Oh, well, now.
Hey, a little.
Okay, what are you going to do now, Roxanne?
I'm going to leave, I think. Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Okay.
All right, it's all right. I'd like to schedule a public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 24th, 2001, at 10:30 a.m. for the Eaton Commerce Parkway subdivision, Eaton Township Detention Basin Maintenance Costs. Developer is Rich Barron. The developer has requested that the detention basin and outlet pipe for the subdivision be placed on perpetual maintenance in accordance with, it should be ORC section 6131.63. The detention basin is constructed with a perpetual drainage easement on parcel number 11-00-005-000-057 abutting the subdivision. The outlet pipe is constructed with a perpetual drainage easement on permanent parcel numbers 11-00-005-000-054. Each sublot and lot splits benefiting from these drainage items shall pay their prorated share by acreage, which amounts to 5% of the total construction cost of $36,767. This money will stay in an account to the county auditor's office, with the engineer would use for any repairs or maintenance. Balance in the account cannot exceed 20% of the original cost of construction. I'd like to publish this notice of hearing in the Chronicle Telegram on April 30th and May 7th, 2001, and I will send notice to the property owners on May 10th, 2001.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd to advertise for bids for the furnishing of all labor, material, and equipment for the 2001 hot mix projects on various roads in Lorain County. The project will be funded 89% by OPWC, and the local share is available in the Engineer Construction Projects account. I'd like to publish the notice in the Chronicle Telegram and Morning Journal on May 7th and 14th, 2001.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
To approve and enter into an agreement between the Ohio Water Development Authority and the County of Lorain for the Lorain County Coastal Erosion Loan Program. Once executed, the county can loan funds to residents for construction of coastal erosion structures.
So moved.
Support. Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, Mr. Klein, did you just want to briefly give some information on this as an update?
Thank you, Commissioners. We're pleased to say that we have 3 property owners along Lake Erie. About 16 months ago, the Board of Commissioners authorized us to enter into a program with OWDA to loan money out with the assistance of the County Commissioners, and its funds originate with OWDA for coastal erosion projects. You've authorized that. We've taken applications. We've worked with the engineer and OWDA we have now reached the point where we have 3 projects ready to move forward. Matter of fact, once this agreement is signed, hopefully today, we have the first check for $400 ready to go to OWDA, and the money to these property owners for protection of the coastal erosion area, or the area that's being eroded, will go forward within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you. Yeah. In what way will they be protecting the erosion?
They have to do a series of engineering designs that are reviewed by ODNR as well as OWDA, and they're putting in structures. Some of them are concrete, some of them are wooden structures, but they're only eligible if they can demonstrate over the last 5 years 30 foot or more of the coast along Lake Erie have eroded away from their property, and so this is to stabilize that so that we won't see that coast going into Lake Erie and polluting it or muddying the water, so to speak. So they're protecting their property as long as our coastal front.
So will the money be used for engineering this project or for...
The engineering is cost paid by the property owner. What this is to hire the contractor instead of going to a local bank to get money to do. Some of these are 20 and some of them are $50,000 and $80,000 projects. Instead of going to the bank, they can go to OWDA. With the recent passage, it was about 2 years ago, of legislation by the state legislators to allow us to do this. OWDA can loan money to these property owners to protect our shoreline.
And does
It's for the construction.
And it's loaned at a lower rate of interest, so it assists the
Yes,
property
and
owner.
I don't remember what that interest rate is, but it is a favorable rate.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
I'd like to approve and enter into a contract with Henrietta Township to become part of Lorain County's healthcare, effective May 1st, 2001, expiring December 31st, 2003.
Several years ago, the county self-insured health care plan allowed townships to become part of our plan. So I think this is a benefit to Henrietta Township.
So moved.
Second.
More discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd like to advertise for bids for the furnishing of all labor, material, and equipment to complete the Emergency Operations Addition for the Lorain County 911 Agency and the Emergency Management Agency. And to publish the notice in the Chronicle Telegram, Morning Journal, and Plain Dealer on May 19th and 16th, 2001.
I'd like to hold this. I talked with Jim Cordes and Dan Billman to see if we could use some solid waste money for recycling like carpet or tile. And I guess Dan has a meeting with Tom Kelly and the architect May 1st to go over some of the material that can be used out of recycled material. So I'd like to wait until they decide, because I think that might change the estimates also.
What's the project? What's the total cost of this project? Does anybody remember?
Right now, they just have the estimated cost, I believe.
Do you know how much that is?
John, do you have that in your file?
John, do you remember what it is?
I don't have an exact.
Okay. I heard $2 million. Is that about right?
About $1.8 million is what I thought it was,
Okay.
approximately.
But that's between 911 and
That's correct.
EMA.
That would
So that's not coming out of our general fund?
Well, EMA,
It's a split.
emergency management, some of that will come out of general
Okay. I don't
fund.
have a problem holding it. I'd like to hold it so we can review how much money we're actually going to spend out of our general fund. So I don't mind. I don't have a problem holding
Yeah,
it.
that's what we need to know and see what recycling money we could use also. Here's a breakdown. I don't think there's a total bill, is there?
There's 4 contracts.
Right
down
there, general trades contract, estimated cost of $939,650. HVAC mechanical contract, estimated cost of $136,550. Plumbing, fire sprinkler contract, estimated cost $125,850. Electric contract, estimated cost $181,100.
Is there a total?
Okay, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, right around there. That's just for that part of it, though. Are we looking at also remodeling some of the current? I don't know who would be in charge of this.
believe there was a look at an addition for a garage or some additional facility on there, as I recall. It wasn't a tremendous amount of money, but there was an addition.
So that's included in,
It says here to
That should be
complete
it is included.
the Emergency Operations Center addition for the Lorain County 911 Agency and Emergency, and they're the EMA. I don't mind holding off on it.
Okay, appreciate it.
Well, let's not hold up too long because we wanted to get this construction started this spring if possible. So, Roxanne, would you speak to the administrator when he comes back and see if we can have the answers to these questions so we could act on this next week? Thank you.
Okay. I need to advertise for...
Excuse me, Betty, I don't know if we can, what's the date today?
26th.
The meeting with Dan Billman and the architects is May 1st. So I don't know if we could do this next week.
What's this? The pre-bid meeting will be held at the EMA on May 23rd. So I think we're okay if we wait 1 week to talk to the administrator.
Well, I'd like Dan to meet with the architect too,
Right.
and that will be May 1st. Dan will meet with the architect and Tom Kelly. And
Which is when next? May 1st should be next Wednesday, right?
the first,
Or Monday, or Tuesday.
oh, wait a minute,
There we go.
yeah, Tuesday.
So we should be okay if we wait till 1 week, right? I think Jim knows how I feel about spending money on this project, so. I like to get some more explanations on it. Here, is this
Okay,
our
if we-
copy or is this an
Well, it's
original?
this is the board business. You can have it.
Oh, no, I'll wait until Jim comes back.
Betty, would you mind if we just wait until all the information comes in?
Well,
If it's a
I'm
week or 2
assuming that
weeks?
we're going to have all the information. I
In a
was
week or
hoping that
two.
we could have it next week. If not, we'll have to wait. But I just wanted to, I'm not sure about the furnishings and how much that would change. I don't know what the allocation is for the furnishings. Perhaps that's something that's separate and that it wouldn't hold up the actual construction. That was my thought. So ASAP, whenever it is. Thank you.
Okay. Also need to advertise for bids for the purchase of computer-aided dispatch system for the Lorain County Sheriff. We have to publish the notice in the Chronicle Telegram and Morning Journal on April 30th and May 7th, 2001.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Authorize the release and payment of retainage to Williams Brothers Builders Incorporated of Elyria, Ohio, in the amount of $3,736 for work performed on the installation of the Huntington Township elevator project. The contract is complete, and contractor has submitted all the necessary paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd like to approve and enter into an amendment lease between Spencer Management Incorporated and Lorain County Board of Elections for property located at 2158 Broadway Avenue, Lorain, Ohio, and amendment of lease between Spitzer Hardware and Supply Company and Lorain County Board of Elections for property located at 115 Cedar Street, Elyria, Ohio. The current leases are to expire on May 31st, 2001. The amendment is to reflect lease extension beyond May 31st, 2002 at a current cost of $4,450 per month. And from September 1st, 2001 to May 31st, 2002, the rent will increase to $4,500 per month. The rent shall increase $50 per month after every 6 months for the Broadway Avenue location, and $3,990 per month, which is the current cost. And from June 1st, 2002, the rent shall increase to $4,040 per month, and the rent will increase by $50 per month after every 6 months for the Cedar Street location.
The clerk was to give a copy of this to Mr. Ennis. Did you have a chance to review the contract, Jerry? My question specifically was that the document that was prepared left space for the Board of Elections to sign, but not the commissioners, and I wondered who the proper party to sign. If we're approving it, I think we ought to be signing it. That was kind of my question.
Well, that goes into my next question is, has the Board of Elections participated in this negotiations at all? And I believe they haven't. They haven't. So then the next question is, are they going to participate when we decide to combine them and move them to one location? And if we're going to make this decision, then we should be able to have the right to make the next one.
I think we need a joint decision. I think we have to cooperate with them, and they should be cooperating with us. And, you know, I've been asking Jim to put a meeting together between the Board of Elections, the board members, and the commissioners, so we can make a decision on what we're going to do. At these prices, I mean, we better be making some decisions pretty fast. I don't want to continue to pay rent.
I believe what Jim said is he would take care of this portion first, and
Right.
then thereafter we'll establish a joint meeting with commissioners and these parties.
Yes, so
I
we've
don't-
been waiting for this.
I don't have any recollection of reviewing this commission.
What?
I don't have any recollection of having reviewed the contract.
You haven't reviewed the lease out?
I don't believe so.
Pardon me?
We sent copies down, maybe didn't get a chance to see it.
How long ago?
Well, probably while you were gone at the seminar yesterday.
Oh, but it was just a couple days ago when I had it.
Oh, you mean you don't, you don't have a 24-hour service?
What? I think our only concern in this is that the lease was expiring in August, wasn't it? So we can, I think it'd be something
I'd
you
like
better
to
hold
hold
this.
it.
Don't you think?
Yes.
Especially if our legal counsel like to recollect.
Well, Jerry, would you review this, please? Review the proposed contract and also consult with the administrator so that we could perhaps act upon this next week then?
Well, I think we should have a meeting with Board of Elections, too. I mean, they should see these figures, and they should see the contract, and at the same time, we should be discussing what we're going to do with them in the future.
Well, as Dr. Ballard has said, and I think Mr. Cordes reported to us a couple meetings ago, he felt that this was the first step in getting an agreement that simultaneously ended at both places.
Right.
I understand that, but he's got it now, at least a verbal agreement. So I think we could start moving forward on meeting with the Board of Elections.
Let's let Jerry look at it and see who's going to sign this contract first, the three of us or the Board of Elections and us, okay? I think that's the quickest way to bring them to the table.
But they should still be aware of this contract,
Oh, yeah,
whether they sign it or not.
Well, no, I mean, that's,
It's a matter of communication.
right.
Okay? So we will work on this.
So Jerry will get a copy to the board and hopefully have a nice report for us next Thursday, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Unless we don't, like a lot. Two more times.
Okay, we need to approve the Middle Avenue, Lorain County Road, number 114-0-00 resurfacing project is requested by the county engineer. The engineer has applied for federal funding for this project, which consists of 80% federal and 20% local funding. The local project administrator agreements have been chosen for the project. By using this method, the county bids out and inspects the project. Plans and bid package will be submitted to ODOT in May. This will take approximately 4 to 5 weeks for ODOT and FHWA approval, then the county engineer will bid the project for construction this summer. I'd like to authorize the clerk to receive bids as soon as approval is received from ODOT and FHWA.
Mr. Carney, do you want to comment on this?
And I'll be brief. Ken Carney, County Engineer. This thing on? No. Saturday. 247 Hathaway. 329-5586. The unique part about this project is that it's an LPA. And this is the first one we're going to do in the county. Probably the second one in the entire county since the LPA program has been in existence. What this does for us is that we can develop this quicker, less approvals. We take responsibility for the engineering and inspection. We upfront the money and we get paid in 60 days in incremental payments, probably 3 or 4 payments. So there's not a lot of tie-up with our money, but we'll get that back. 80% federal and 20% Ohio Public Works Commission, which was granted last year by my application. Total project's right around $700,000. When these bids are received, it's probably close to that or a little less. 80% federal, 20% state, zero cost for the county except for the engineering, and we're doing that in-house. So this is one of the perfect jobs that has come through our office one more time. All right, that's it. So, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Carney? If not, also move.
Second.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Before I read the next item, I'd like to just explain this a little bit first. By the time I had the agenda prepared, the two commissioners had given me their appointees for the Port Authority Board. After my agenda was printed, then the third commissioner had given me their appointment, so it's not reflected on here. So with that, and the terms, I'm not sure how the terms are working out, but Need to authorize the appointment of the following members on Lorain County Port Authority effective April 26, 2001. William Bodler for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2004. Dr. Roy Church for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2003. And the third candidate, Mr. Ronald Gold, effective for a term expiring December 31st, 2002.
Okay, last week, there was no mention of appointing a board this week, so I was really unprepared because I was told Tuesday that 2 commissioners decided to appoint the board. And fortunately, I found someone, but I do have some questions on statutory qualifications of the board members and who determined the number of board members on the Port Authority. I mean, I don't remember discussing this, so I've got these questions.
I believe the resolution that we passed last week, that there was much discussion about modifying the Lorain County Airport and Development Authority Board under Section 2. I think this is what it says. Yes, the Port Authority shall be governed by a board of directors consisting of 3 directors who shall be appointed by the board.
Was that the resolution from last week?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of it?
I can get them, Teresa. I don't have it here.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Well, that was the much talked about resolution that Shirley even got a copy of last week. Jerry fine-tuned it. In fact,
I haven't got a copy.
You brought to Mr. Ennis's attention clarifications.
But I haven't got a copy of the new updated.
Well, this is the copy from last week. I mean, these are Jerry's penned notes in here. So, but the body of it calls for the appointment of a board of directors consisting of 3 directors.
Well, who made the decision that there would be 3? We didn't discuss that last week, though.
But it was part of the resolution that was presented to us for approval. And
It
we
was
voted on
presented, but nobody had seen it, if you recall. And that's why Shirley asked to see it.
Well, I'm
So
not
I don't
sure,
remember talking about 3 board members.
when I saw it. But anyway, this is part of what we passed last week.
Well, I'd like to discuss it anyway. Do we want three members? Is that sufficient? Because when we organized the airport as the Port Authority, then we had 5 members, and now we're going down to 3.
Well, I think we should start out at 3. I think probably in a year from now, this should be maybe a 5 or 7 member board. I think for right now, though, to get this Port Authority up and running, I think 3 should be sufficient for now, but I think we should expand this board probably in about a year to maybe 5 to 7.
Well, my concern with 3 would be whether or not they could always make a quorum, because a lot of times people just can't make it, and if you have 3 people, sometimes they just can't meet it.
I'm looking at it more as an expediency. We're in a time.
And what is the time, what is the rush?
We have to get out our check on Monday, which is our number 25, to apply for the $1 million that's sitting down there at the state. With everything going down to the state. This is what I'm being told.
Yeah, that's what we're being told, but I'd like to see verification on all this. Somebody's telling me, yeah, we have to rush on this to get the money down to the state, but I haven't seen any justification for
Just
it.
read the articles about TAF and the budget meetings that they're having right now. They're getting ready to take money away from all these accounts. Probably what we're going to do next with the Justice Center is all the budgets right now that's going on at the state level. We're afraid, what I'm being told by Myers, or Season Good and Mayor, is that the money is drying up because they're trying to pay for education. So what I'm being told third hand from Mr. Cortez is that if we don't move in this fast, there won't be any money available.
But that's threats. I mean, we've heard these threats
That's not
from the
threat.
feds and the states, and
That's not
they
threat.
just keep threatening with the budget to take money away from this area and the other area and put it in education, but there's no proof yet.
No, there's money down there. We're just trying to hurry up and
Right,
get it.
it's been down there since 1997.
I'm not sure if it's been there since 97.
It has, since because that's why we did the airport
It
authority.
doesn't matter by June, it's
To
gone.
get the money.
In the biennium that ends June 30th, and if we do not make our application timely, there's the possibility that it will not be approved. And I believe that, Mr. Twining, did you want to speak as the
Yes, give us
acting
some
director? Would you like to speak to the issue? I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
And he stood up
You
right
didn't
away.
wave.
Thank you, Commissioners. I will just answer the questions that I heard, so if I don't answer all of them, please remind me. But The actual deadline for getting the application technically was the 16th of April, and because the state was aware that we were putting together this and the window of opportunity was short, they're meeting in May. They have agreed to allow us an extension of 2 weeks, so Monday the 30th is a date that we have to have the check and the application prepared. A part of that application has to identify the initial 3 board members. That number can be increased at any point into the future. It was our understanding that the commissioners were planning to appoint those 3 board members so that we could do the application and secure the $1 million from the state to match our $1.5 million. So that's where we're at right now. The application is ready to be, assuming passage today of these next 2 items, we are ready to submit that application this afternoon.
And who's meeting? You said someone's meeting Monday?
Yeah, the authority, and I don't remember their exact title, but the authority that's giving us this local match from the Department of Development for the Port Authority for the reserve bonds.
Do we have a guarantee that we're receiving this money?
No?
No.
So I gotta hurry up and get down there.
No, and we will, I can guarantee you this, we have been guaranteed we will not get the money if we do not get the application and the check down there by Monday, the 30th.
Well, see, that's what I needed to know.
Yeah.
And I needed some verification of that. Right now, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
And I was hearing Jim, but I don't see anything in black and white that says that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And what about the statutory qualifications? There was something when we did this before about we had to appoint someone within 3 miles of the airport.
They amended that, so that's no longer a requirement.
It's amended in the new law.
Right.
And what about?
The requirements are that they have to either live, work, or have a place of business in the jurisdiction of the Port Authority.
And all these people that we're appointing are qualified? I know Stacy asked you about my appointment, so I guess I'm okay on mine, but I'd like to know about the other two.
They have to live in Lorain County, basically.
Within the jurisdiction.
Live, work, or have a business. Now I think it's Lorain and Avon Lake are outside of the jurisdiction of our new Port Authority. So.
Why is Avon Lake out of the jurisdiction?
Which is the other one? Or Vermillion, sorry.
Port Authority.
Vermillion.
Because they have their own port authority.
They have to establish some other connection with another place in Lorain County outside of Lorain or Vermillion.
So they can't live in Lorain.
No, there's no problem with them living there. It's just that if they live in Lorain, then they either have to work or have a place of business somewhere within the jurisdiction. They have to meet one of 3 qualifications. Either they must live, work in, or have a place of business in Lorain County other than Vermillion or Lorain.
Further discussion?
Well, is it clear then that everyone is qualified?
Yep.
And did you get any, I don't have any background or anything on these people or an application. Do you have one?
I did not submit a background on the qualifications of Dr. Church because I did not ask for it. I think he's quite obvious to who he is and where he works.
Okay. He lives in Avon Lake.
Avon Lake, yeah. Oh, he said Vermillion.
Right.
I was getting that confused with who had consent.
Along the lake.
Do we have to make a motion on this, or did we
I
already do
think
that?
so.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
And authorize Lorain County Auditor to issue a warrant in the amount of $1,500 payable to the Ohio Department of Development as application fee for the Lorain County Port Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Who's gonna run down and make sure that check gets taken care of?
We've already discussed it. I expect the auditor's office, they'll be cutting a check from this resolution that we received today. And then they'll do a check tomorrow morning, and Ron and I will overnight it out tomorrow.
Okay, Mr. Cortez is in a conference. Dr. Ballard, Assistant County Administrator, comments?
No report, no comments.
This is your chance.
It's nice to see you here.
And you.
Assistant County Prosecutor, Mr. Ennis?
I have no report.
Commissioner's report.
Mr. Vacy?
Yes. Jim told me that, well, last week we talked about inviting county agencies to put a little presentation on to inform us of what their functions are. And Jim told me Tuesday, I believe, that both of you decided not to do this. And I'd like to know why.
No, my thing was, it wasn't the agencies, it was the board members, all the volunteers of all the boards that we have. That's what my concern is. These people are volunteers, and I want them taking time out of their day to come in and say who they are for a board, the board members. Now, county agencies where people are being paid by the county, I have a problem with that. In fact, I think Jim's starting to do that with all the directors, right? That's my understanding, which I don't have a problem with that, but I have a problem with people that volunteer their time on boards at night to come in during the day to do a presentation. That was my only concern.
Well, I think it would be nice, especially, this week, April 21st to the 28th is National Volunteers Week, and I think it would be nice if we could invite them, and if they can attend, fine, and if not, at least award them. Sometimes a certificate of appreciation means a lot to people, and these people do volunteer their time. They don't get paid for it, and I think they should be recognized. And not only that, but I think that it would help the agencies, because a lot of these agencies don't have money for advertisement. And if they could come in and explain what their agency does, it would let the public know. And I think it would benefit the public and the agencies to have this little bit of additional advertisement for them.
I don't have a problem with the executive directors of agencies coming in, but most of these boards are usually 5 to 12 people, and they have full-time jobs. My concern was inviting the boards to meetings. You can invite them to the meetings, but if you put it as an appointment, maybe the executive director could come in and do a presentation, then the board members at their will can come in. But the way it was presented to me was like, we want all the board members to come on in to meet us, and I thought, well, that doesn't sound appropriate.
Oh, no.
That's all I was worried about.
No, I think that we could invite them, and if they can attend, that would be fine, and at the same time, present them with a certificate of appreciation. And if they can't, then we can give them to the director, and the director can pass the certificates out.
See, I don't have a problem with something like that, but I do have a problem inviting. I felt like we were forcing the boards to show up at 9:30 in the morning when most of them have jobs. So, if Jim wants to put in the director of the agencies, you want to identify a list of them and start putting on, a lot of them.
Directors, and invite the board
Invite the
members
board.
too, if they can't attend.
Yeah, but ask the board, or ask the executive directors maybe to show up and do a presentation. Pretty much, I think we've been doing that already, or we're about to be doing that with a few of the agencies right now.
Okay, I just
got
need
a
some
full schedule for
clarification.
the month of May, too. I think we've got us booked for every meeting.
This might take us a couple of years, but the main thing is, I don't have a problem with the executive director, I just had a problem with volunteers coming in and taking time off of work.
Okay, that's why I
That's
thought
what-
we needed some discussion on this issue. So it's clarified now?
Yeah, we just gotta clarify it to Jim when or Dr. Ballard can do that.
Will.
That's okay.
Other items, Commissioner Vacy?
That's all I have, thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
No, that's okay. Thanks for asking, though.
I do believe the news media was given a list of the winners of our Lorain County Government Day door prizes that were, if you would see my administrative assistant afterwards, she told me that she put one out for each of you and gave one to each of the commissioners. I apologize for that. We'll see that you have it afterwards. Anyway, I'd like to publicly thank Janice Mokash, who is Dr. Ballard's assistant, who was kind of in charge of putting our Lorain County Government Day together, and plus all of the staff who are out there. And I think that we've built on it each year, and I think it was a great idea that started, I think, with well, I gotta be careful who I give credit to. I'm looking at Stacy, but you gave money, fake money, so that people could buy prizes after they answered the right questions and stuff. Anyway, it's a good informative tool for Lorain County government, and I just want to thank everybody who participated in that. And we will make this. There were 14 winners of the various store prizes, so I wanted to thank. Look who has appeared on cue.
Commissioner Blair, I'd like to say I initiated this, I think about 9 years ago, and I want to give every one of our staff a lot of credit because they've been putting a lot into this every year, and every year they add something new. We've had a contest where they have, we've had the youth design a county flag. We've now got a county bird or something, I don't know, there's 3 different things that we've had contests with. And we also had a contest, an art contest, for some of the things within the county, and those pictures were down in the cafeteria for many years. I don't know what happened to them now, but I know what we did. We had called each one of them and gave them back, and many of them were really pleased and much older now. It's been a fun thing, and I think it's been an educational thing for the public, and I hope we continue this for many years to come.
Thank you. And next I would like to, Rebecca Gray, the Administrative Coordinator for the Lorain County Community Alliance, is here. Rebecca, do you have any comments for the board this morning? I didn't tell you I was going to ask you to speak, but you are here, so I want to recognize you. Thank you for coming. I also see that Bill Bonnet, the President of Lorain County Association of Township Trustees and Clerks, is in the audience. Welcome, Bill. And that concludes my remarks under Commissioner's report.
Okay, any old business?
I have none.
New business?
None here? I have none.
Public comment?
Anyone wishing to address the board? We'll not go in alphabetical order because Mr. Kish raised his hand first. We'd like to ask you to limit yourself to a few minutes, if you would please come forward. Since you gave us such a nice critique last week.
I wasn't this week, just basically thinking out of the box. I read in the newspapers.
My name is Robert Kish. I live in Elyria. I'm a retired federal civil servant. Friends, citizens, fellow taxpayers, you're all taxpayers, I believe. Maybe not the 2 young children. I started doing this as my civic duty. I got dragged into it where I lived against my will when they flooded my property against my will. Thank heavens there was resolution to the matter, although it was not coming from my township trustees. My question is why there's not more public participation at these meetings. Mr. Moore has stated that possibly we should be holding these meetings in other facilities. I attended meetings up in Fairbanks, Alaska, where the entire school, 15 miles out of town, would be filled, the auditorium, the hallways, and people standing outside at 40 below. That was democracy. Even under communism, public demonstrations in Prague, Berlin, Budapest, and elsewhere fell when the masses filled the public arena. We don't... Anyhow, I bought my friend today. He's not as strong as he used to be. Ben Franklin. He said, neither a borrower nor a lender be. We've gone from 17 million to 50 million, and I don't know where we're going to wind up at. As a federal employee, I worked in a windowless building. It was so dark in that building that they had to use, maintenance men use flashlights to see where we worked at. OSHA approved this. There was loose asbestos blown ceiling that used to drop on us while we worked, covered with cigarette smoke that was black. Federal building. Now, we're building a Lorain County building. Last week I said we go up without any windows. Well, if we don't want to go up without any windows, we had a problem and we had to go ahead and break the city variance, get a variance, which is basically illegally breaking the law because the building was too tall. Perhaps we should go vertically down. This eliminates the windows, the airspace, and maybe we could sell sandstone, use the sandstone on the exterior of the building. It also gives you another parking lot right above your office if that's what you're after. And I personally, I don't know if you've taken a look around Elyria. This is what's wrong with Elyria. There used to be a huge tree in Elyria that much was written about. Save this tree. Today it's a parking lot. They talk green space. There's a lack of it in town. Anyhow, I don't know how this building is going to cost, but Mr. Rakosi is here. I showed this last week. Only $95 a month, you can get $10,000. How easy it is. Comes to $22,788 when you pay it back. What I'm curious is how much is this building going to cost, plus interest? Plus how much is it going to cost when we go into moving, decorating, what have you, the facility, and the other facilities. This I'm sure there'll be modifications of this building. I don't know what cost that'll be. And what happens to the old courthouse? They're going to lease it for $1. They're going to become vacant and become a larger parking lot? I don't know. We just had in today's meeting something that was very piqued my interest. Speaking about paying for the Lorain County Board of Elections. $4,450 a month, and then $4,500 a month, large figures. For me, if I were renting, how many square feet in these buildings? And why don't we apply the same rate to the J.C. Penney building until it is emptied so that the county can move into that building? In other words, tit for tat. The cost per square feet, I don't know what it is in Lorain or Elyria, or what it is at the J.C. Penney building. Number 8 has a meeting for the County Planning Commission to be held on Thursday, April 26th at 3 p.m., but it neglects to say where.
Here.
Here? Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. What?
Dutifully noted, Mr. Twining.
The one other thing I was curious about, the name Squires and Company has received, that went from $12,000 to $8,000, and I guess I don't know where the money came or is coming from or going, but I'm questioning how much money was paid Squires in the year 2000 and say the 9 previous years. It might be an interesting figure just to see how this amount added up over the years.
John does have that, because I requested it last month.
But somehow I tend to believe Mr. Ruckosi's feelings reference this edifice that we're going to be building as far as the cost, more so than a party who's going to get what I call possibly excessive quarters. I don't know. The pay that the judge makes, I think, is well compensated. Nobody's quitting. Nobody's moving out. They're fighting over how many people are going to move into the Oberlin court system. If we don't have enough court available here, one man from Akron came to this urban trial. He was willing to stay for another trial. It wasn't so objectionable to this man. The other thing is, why don't we just double the amount of hours available in this building? Call it night court. That allows people who are working to come in and not have to take time off from work in order to pay a fine or whatever it is. I'm not saying you should have your major trials at midnight or knock on the door at midnight. That's been done other places. This poor woman that got arrested and jailed and fined for not having a seatbelt on in Texas, that's pitiful, I think, over a seatbelt law. The other man I sort of admire is Mr., I don't know how many people remember him, Everett Dirksen. He said $1 million here, $1 million there. Pretty soon it adds up. Or some words somewhat to that effect. Then again, I say we need to balance this building with what we want and what we need. Every taxpayer has to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kish. The gentleman in the first row, you had some remarks. Please identify your name for the record. And if it's a good spelling, you might have to spell it for us, too.
Not too tough. My name is Ron Rowe, R-O-W-E, and my comments will not be as thought-provoking, but I did want to introduce myself to both the board and the directors. I am with Ohio Edison and will be filling in for Joe Faga. Joe will be taking a leave of absence in support of our impending merger and will be working in Pennsylvania for the next 2 or 3 months. I've provided my card to one of the commissioners. I have my card available. And if you call Joe's regular number, it'll tell you how to reach me. But I'll be sitting in Joe's office. Are there any questions or?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. I thought maybe you were going to say if you call Joe's number, you'll answer.
If it rings. I'm still trying to work out the telephone system here.
Thank you for coming this morning. Mr. Kish, you had one opportunity. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board this morning? Please. Thank you. We have a 10:30 scheduled for a presentation from the Sheriff's Department, I believe. Are you ready, Sheriff Stamati?
Yes.
Okay, then we would like to do that at this time, please. Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I beg your pardon. I'll move, we waive the reading of board correspondence. Thank you.
Second.
Mrs. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Moore. Aye. Mrs. Vacy.
Aye.
Okay, Deputy Don Darmus, Senior Hazardous Device Technician from Lorain County Sheriff's Department, is here to give a presentation regarding the bomb squad and bomb safety.
Good morning.
Morning. My reason for here, of course, is some support financially, and also to explain to you what actually the workings are of the bomb squad. We're on a county level. We have 2 men from the Lorain Police Department, myself and another from the Sheriff's Department. We have 2 hazmat men and 1 man from Elyria. These officers are being trained. We have 1 man in school in Alabama, 5-week training school for hazardous devices. And we've been operating. I've operated for 30 years now. This is my 30th year I've been taking care of explosives in the county of Lorain. 4 years ago, we through Sheriff Mahoney enlarged to the point that we were able to obtain various men that were interested, and we've acquired equipment through the help of Lorain Police Department, Elyria Police Department, and Prosecutor's Office, and of course the County Sheriff's Department. But we're coming to a point that we've borrowed as much, I think, as we can. We've obtained, years ago, I did obtain a bomb trailer from U.S. Steel. They made it for us. Now we're attempting to pull it with other vehicles. Due to the fact that our bomb trailer is of a large amount of weight, the truck we do have has 124,000 miles on it. It was used for transporting prisoners. It belongs to the Sheriff's Department. We went on a scene last week. We had to leave the truck run for 6 hours due to the fact we were scared to turn it off. Then there was a puddle of oil underneath it. When we go to pick it up, there's always a puddle of oil underneath it. It's rusting away, and it's getting the time to replace it. We have no shelving. We have nothing at all to put our equipment on. We've got portable X-ray unit. We've got a disruptor. We've got tools, various tools. And right now I'm working with the new sheriff, Sheriff Stamati, on obtaining a truck, but support also has to be obtained in respect to education. I have 2 hazmat men, county hazmat men, that are on my squad. We adopted it. Federal government said that from now on, all bomb squads should have hazmat men due to the factor of weapons of mass destruction, the threat of it. These men have available to them oxygen, different special equipment that we could obtain. But in turn, these guys are volunteers. They're going out to the scene. They come out at 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it is. And they help us, and the sheriff's now working on it. But we would like to have these men paid. It's a shame, really, but this wasn't presented to you probably. So this is one of the things we need, and Right now, what I need is funds to send these two men to school with us. We have a one-week school for International Association of Bomb Technicians that goes through all the new scenarios of explosives throughout the world. These men are not technicians, the hazmat men, but they assist us. They get us our equipment. They help us completely. They're as if they were technicians, except they don't have hands-on. Hands-on is scheduled for 5 years after you attend a bomb school, then you are allowed to touch a device. So there's very few people. Like I said, I've had 30 years, and the reason I formed the bomb squad with the Sheriff Mahoney, the fact is that I'm not going to be here forever. People have read the newspaper recently, one of our adjoining counties, they had a problem. Those people cannot thank me enough to this day, and thank the sheriff and thank the county for sending us over there. Otherwise, there's a very good possibility there would have been dead police officers. I have no doubt in my mind. Devices were set up as such that there would have been some funerals. But there again, like I said, what we need some more backing from the county. I do not bring any figures with me to the factor that I will take the time and do this if we will have the support, if I could have some acknowledgement of support. I know it's easy to bring this out to you, but that's the only thing I can say, really. I have some tapes, if you'd like to see the tapes. They're on training. They're actual devices that we've set off for training. If you'd be interested, I'd be more than happy to show you. They're approximately 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long.
What do you, have you ever done a budget or anything like that for your department?
No, because we work through the Sheriff's Department. The salaries of Lorain is paid by Lorain Police Department, Elyria by Elyria. And I am Special Deputy. I work through the Sheriff, so I'm paid by the Sheriff. But there has been a setup, but we have things that have to be replaced, X-ray film, explosives, different types of explosives that we work with, we train with, equipment. My blasting machine I brought to the bomb scene 23 years ago. So I've had it rebuilt. We try to cut costs as much as possible. Anything we have 2 magazines, 2 explosive magazines. One I borrowed from Austin Powder Company through a friend, which we keep it, and one that another company gave us through one of our hazmat men. He talked with them. So we've done what we could as far as getting equipment without having to burden the county with the money. But like I said, what we have to do is we have to set it up. My men have asked me as far as insurance goes. We're all insured to a certain extent, but especially my hazmat men, they're basically covered by hazmat, but to what degree I don't know. And I'd like to look into that for my men also. Due to the fact that it's a specialized job, everyone has specialized jobs, but this is a little bit different. At least I consider this. There's not that many men. And like I said, we're very fortunate. In the last one, my men performed tremendously. I couldn't thank them more for what they did for me. And amongst the things we had snakes also. They had 3 boa constructors and miscellaneous other things there. Which one of my men is scared of snakes.
You have a bomb, but
He was bad enough looking for the bombs.
what do you think about putting together just something? I mean, we're working with Mr. Rokesy right now in regards to a budget. I mean, do you operate on a budget right now, or just basically as a division within the Sheriff's Department?
I'm a division of the Sheriff's Department, and whenever the other money is available, he helps me as much as possible. So salary-wise, he takes it out of his general fund.
Do you also work with the Emergency Management Agency?
We don't operate out of emergency management.
But
We work together in respects if we do need to borrow some equipment or anything like that, but otherwise, no.
Well, that's a question I was going to ask too. Don, I know you keep talking about hazmat.
Yes.
That's why the thought came emergency management. They have a lot of that equipment. That's why I wondered, the same as Betty, if if they assist you in any way.
They do assist me if I do need something like a Scott Air Pack or something like this that they do have available. Some of their chemical suits, we're trying to work out where we can adapt to them for the weapons of mass destruction era now. But their vehicle, no, their vehicle is too large. We can't put our equipment in with their equipment because we have a standard call-up for ordnance. I take my X-ray unit, that I just can't be going back and forth and stripping from one. If they're out on a call for a hazmat, then I need my equipment, and I have to go and find out where they're located. And we had to call last week when Sandusky called us. They called me at 2:45. I was working at Amherst Police Department. At 10 after 3, I called my men. 10 to 5, we were there on the scene, which is good time.
I have this thought too. I know that the transit updates their buses maybe every year, periodically, whenever. But even the county here has a couple of their smaller buses, and maybe they would be willing to give you one of the buses, and you could strip the inside and put your equipment in it and repaint it or whatever you have to do with it. But that's one avenue we could look at. And maybe the county, I don't know what we do with ours anymore. Do we use it that much? Anybody know? The buses that we got from the transit. Maybe, there's a bus there too.
I know we got a county car sitting down there.
Well, these buses not all of them are real large. So there's some smaller ones if you need a smaller one to put your equipment in. But I think they would be nice if you could strip the inside, take the seats out.
I think it'd be better if you put together a needs list or something. What you're
this is actually what I'm having, because in respect to bus, it's a good idea, but we never know what terrain we're going on. We're pulling a bomb trailer, which weighs probably about 3.5, 4 tons.
No, I'm talking about an extra vehicle to put your equipment in.
For an extra vehicle.
Could you put together something in writing on what you're looking for?
I could do that.
Like, if you're looking for, it doesn't mean we're going to agree to everything, but maybe put down, this is what you would like to see, so we can take a look at the numbers and see what, like we're saying, maybe we do have extra ways to get you what you need without actually spending the money.
Well, there is something, like I said, that a training aid, what we use, explosives, things like this, updating on equipment. We don't update that much, but there are times when we do need something, and we'd have to be coming back and forth. As far as training goes, we do use, like I say, explosives and other equipment for training. We have to purchase a wide variety of items. I mean,
Are your purchases...
In my truck, we use my shovel I brought from home. I mean, I just brought it years ago, and this is a thing that I happen to have an extra one just through in the truck. But this is a thing, we have to get a whole assortment of tools. Like I said, I will make up a list of what we really do need. But what I would like to do, if at all possible, would be to obtain approximately $3,000 for training of my 2 hazmat men. We have a school coming up in the month of June the 24th. And I would like these men to attend, and they're going to leave their jobs. They're both professional people. They have their own businesses to operate. They're going to leave them just to attend school.
How long have they been with you?
3.5, 4 years.
Have they received any compensation for their work?
They receive no compensation whatsoever. And like I say, they come out anytime I have a call out. They come out at any time of the hour or day, rain, snow, anything. And it's their gasoline to come and drive down on them. It's just that they're good citizens. They believe in what they're doing. They're trying to help people.
Are these people volunteers through the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Stemeti? Do they work through you because this is your employee? How is this handled? I mean, I know you have people who are volunteers who help you out.
Yes,
what if they have a special name?
Yes, Commissioner. They've been sworn in as special deputies. They're covered when they come out to a scene as far as workers' compensation and things like that. Sheriff Mahoney had swore them in last year. I continued to swear them in after my term took place. But I think our big concern is, and what I explained to Deputy Darmus was, that he's going to start training different fire departments in Lorain County and different police departments on what to do when you find a pipe bomb or some type of explosive devices. And I told him my concern is that that's going to impact on my budget because I don't really have like a training budget for the bomb squad. So the more money I end up paying him, it takes away from my general fund money that I pay my deputies out of. I told him that's my concern. The other things like the vehicle, we can get a vehicle. Actually, we're looking right now from Chief Anthony from Columbia Township Fire Department to possibly look at a vehicle there, an old ambulance that they may have. Greg White, through his law enforcement trust funding, and mine through my law enforcement trust fund, and Lorain and Elyria, we can possibly buy the vehicle. I guess what we're looking more is maybe to get these two guys trained. I'm sending him to that school that he's talking about, but I can't send 3 people.
Oh, this is for 3? The $3,000, is that for 3 people
That's
or
for
2?
2 people.
Yes, but I'm paying for his to go, so there'll be 3 people going to this. But my concern was that the more training that we do to try to train the other police departments and the fire departments, that if I start paying the 2 volunteers some type of hourly wage, that this definitely is going to impact my budget. So that's my concern.
And this is just a one-time shot. I mean, you're just going to send them down there for this training? It's not that they have to go every year?
This is a yearly school, actually, it's
Oh.
an update.
Did they go last year?
We didn't go last year. I went on basically, we went 2 years prior. Last year was in Australia, and I didn't think the community had paid for that one. The year before, it was located out of state also, but I did look at what the school had in respect to, the year before we had gone to it, and I said, no reason as far as I was concerned to go to it.
So where's this one at?
This one is in Albuquerque. They're out of state, they're always out of state, they're always the same time. Through that, we have representatives throughout the world, from Ireland to Hong Kong, the Philippines, New York Police Department, Chicago, Cleveland, all the police departments. What they do, they go over case scenarios of what they've done, how they've defeated certain types of devices, and new equipment. We have all the suppliers from Canada and the United States, some from Israel. They come up with new devices and new techniques. It's a equipment show, and it's just beneficial. Like I told my men, I said, this is, in fact, on this one, it's my 30th wedding anniversary. I had to do some talking with my wife. But I was telling my men, if you learn one thing, that might save someone's life, either ours or some bystander or some building.
Right. And this isn't something, it's an ongoing education. It's not something you go to school one time, because there's always some new devices coming out, new types of bombs. And I'd like to say that we're lucky in Lorain County to have Deputy Darmus with his expertise, and also one of my other deputies, Detective Carl Yost, who's also a bomb expert. We're lucky to have these type of people, because nowadays when you get these type of devices, you just never know. I mean, you know, Oklahoma City is a good example. That just, it only takes one incident. And these guys, that thing in Sandusky was the real thing out there. You know, you're always waiting for that one big call to come in. Well, that was the one big call as far as bombs go, because this guy had an elaborate setup over there.
Is Detective Yost going to this schooling also?
No, he's not.
Well, I think if he's on your staff, he ought to be going to the school too.
Commissioner, he's involved in something else, so he won't be able to go this year. That's the reason why he's
Yeah,
not
it's
going.
not his wedding anniversary.
No,
is it?
no, nothing like that.
I think you've given the utmost. You tell your wife. How do we want to handle this? Commissioner Moore has asked Deputy Darmus to put together some kind of a budget, and I think that this is the beginning of something we need to look at a little bit more closely, not piecemeal.
Right.
And I also, and Commissioner Basie mentioned this, and I did too, I would like to see you work very closely with the Emergency Management Agency. I'm not suggesting. I just want you to work with them, because I think we're better off if we have an umbrella of how we do things, and I know the Sheriff's Office works very closely with EMA.
Yes, and he does work with him, I can tell you that.
Okay.
We keep our one vehicle over there and their one garage and everything else.
And I guess that I would like to suggest that the sheriff submit a letter of request listing these individuals for authorization for travel, and note that you don't have the funds, and request the commissioners to appropriate the funds.
Okay.
And you have sufficient time to do this before the schooling, I believe. Is that appropriate? Is the board, is that, or you
Yes.
want to do something different?
No, I was thinking the same thing.
If you get it in by tomorrow, we're gonna have it voted on next Thursday.
Sure.
Is that enough time for the June meeting?
Yes.
And then, in the meantime, how much time do you think you need to put together a budget, an ongoing annual budget, maybe a 3 to 5 year? good.
I think that'll take a little bit more
I mean, it'll
thought.
take some time, but if you can work on that, maybe we can work with a couple agencies and come up with something as a group.
Also, I thought was interesting, you said that, and you went to the neighboring county and assisted them. Is this an opportunity for us to work in a wider range than Lorain County?
Yeah, I believe normally in Sandusky, this was in the city of Sandusky, they usually use like Ashland County. They were not available, so they called for our assistance.
Do you mean Ashland County has something that we don't have?
Well, there's other different counties that
I
have
mean-
bomb units. I'm talking about bomb units. and everything.
Yeah, but I thought this was an opportunity. I mean, this is not something that you see every day, thankfully. And so maybe we can use our expertise and build a little better program. And just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date on the logistics of something like that, but, okay? Thank you very
Thank
much,
you very much.
Deputy and Sheriff, and
Thank you.
Mr. Mahar. Good morning. I believe that concludes our agenda for this morning. There being no further business to come before the board at this time, I move we adjourn.
Second?
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
We're adjourned.